Bole Baba Ki Jai. Welcome back to our chanting after the third day of Navrtri fire ceremony. So, Bole Baba Ki Jai. Just push in the stops. What the stops is that? That's all. I don't know. It's one of the stops. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, okay. No problem. What song are we singing?
Let me think. Let me just see if I can play it.
Okay. It's not in the books anyways.
What number? It's not in the book.
Everyone was feverishly looking for the first one in the book too, which wasn't in the book.
It's not in there?
No.
Okay, well, it's not there.
You're a little harder.
Baban, hey ka, hey maheshin, onam, hey Baba ki jai, jai, that's good, jai. Very nice. Bole Baba ki jai. Perfect.
That didn't help craziness.
Very nice dancing. Thank you so much. Babaji was always having us dance. He said, where there's dance and there's music and singing, then all the gods are there.
Joy. It's joy.
Discourse.
Come close, everybody. You can hear stories. Settle down. Bole Babaji ki jai. Namaste Master.
Attention on deck.
You have a bell, dear friend.
Exactly.
Okay, this is a task. Everyone listen carefully. Who remembers who wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam? Come on, somebody. Veda Vyasa, yes. So, what you might know about Veda Vyasa is that he had a son. So he realized he really wanted his son, even though he was a Muni, he wasn't married or anything, but he went up to the top of Mount Kailash and meditated for 100 years, asking virtue to give him a son. And indeed, this happened. The sun came out of the fire, so he's bright and illuminated and beautiful. And he was so brilliant. Knew all the Vedas as soon as they were being taught to him. Then as he got older, his father said, now it's time for you to be married. And he says, oh, I don't want to be married. I don't want to be bound by that. I only want to reach moksha, enlightenment, right away. I don't want to take this time to go through the various ashrams of life. I want to just go right for it. His father said, no. You should get married and then you let go of all that as the children grow, and then you become a renunciate and sannyas, and then slowly. But Sukadeva, his son, was not happy about this, and his father saw, Vedavyasa saw that his son was disconsolate, and asked him, my child, why are you so full of care? Like a man who is deep in debt. It seems your heart gives you no peace, and nothing I can say can change that. In the city of Matila, there's a king who is also an enlightened Muni. His name is King Janaka. Go to him, Sukadeva. He will deliver you from your confusion, for he is a Jiva Mukta, a liberated one while still living. Suka cried, incredible. He is a king, father, who rules a kingdom? How can Janaka be enlightened? It is like darkness and light existing in the same place. But I must go and see for myself. Give me leave, father. So his son, Suka, prostrated before Vedavyasa's feet, and with tears in his eyes, Vedavyasa raised up his son and embraced him. He said, go then if you must, but swear that you will return to me when you have seen King Janaka, and then remain with me always. Thus Sukadeva set out from his father's ashram for Matila, the kingdom of King Janaka. wondering at the marvelous world that he saw before him, because this was very far away from where he was. Sukadeva made for Matila, which was so long from his father's ashram. It was another practical education for this brilliant young man. He passed over white mountains and came down into jade plains. He forded green blue rivers and crossed many climes and kingdoms. He encountered all kinds of people on his way, from every occupation and every walk of life. After a whole year, Sukadeva arrived at the gates of King Janaka's Matila. He saw how magnificent was the city before him and how contented its people seemed. But a huge guard stopped him at the gate and asked rudely, "Who are you, stranger? What brings you to Matila?" After Suka was astonished and made no reply, but he smiled to himself. The guard said sternly, "By King Janaka's command, no one enters this kingdom without declaring himself properly. You may not pass." Now Suka began to laugh softly. He said, "I have crossed Meru and Himalayas, countless jungles, rivers, and kingdoms to come here. Now I see how deluded I was, and it was my own father who deceived me. The karma of other births made me walk all this way here, and now I cannot even see King Janaka. Matila is no holy place, nor does it have Veda personified here to warrant my having taken such pains to come to this city." As Suka spoke, the traveler's dust seemed to fall away from his body, and the guard saw that his skin shone like a god's. The man relented. He said, "Ramana, forgive me, I have offended you. You may enter, for I see you are a blessed soul." "There is nothing to forgive. You merely did your duty," said Suka. "And how could you tell that I was not a thief or an enemy?" Suka went into Matila and saw a bustling city full of people vigorously plying their various trades. He wandered the streets a while in mild amusement at the frenzied activity around him, all born of attachment. Here also a guard barred his way when he arrived at Janaka's palace. Suka just shut his eyes and stood still as stone before the swarthy fellow. The guard saw in alarm that the stranger's body began to shine with uncanny light as Vedavyas's son, Sukadeva, was plunged in meditation. Bright as a sliver of sun shone Suka, and in a moment a minister ran out of Janaka's palace and ushered Sukadeva past the awestruck guard and into the king's palace. The king's women received him, and when they saw how illustrious he was and how young and handsome he was, their hearts were all aflutter. But Suka was beyond the temptation of women. They fed him delicacies which he nibbled politely, then showed him to an elegant apartment. The bed of swan down was made up for him. They fluffed up the pillows, but lingered on in that chamber, for they were so attractive and would serve him more intimately. Smiling, the serene Sukadeva washed his feet carefully. He slipped the ascetic's ring of kusa grass around his finger, then sat on the floor at the foot of his bed in Padmasana, shut his eyes, and was lost in meditation again. The women saw how candescently his body began to blaze, and growing afraid, they left him alone. Suka meditated on the Supreme Brahman for 3 hours, then rose and slept for 6 hours. He awoke at the last part of the night and sat in dhyana another 3 hours. Come the Brahma Muhutra, the hour before sunrise, and Suka bathed in cold water while the rest of Matila slept, and yet again he sat in meditation. Later that morning, King Janaka came to meet Sukadeva. When they had greeted each other formally, Janaka said, "Holy One, I see you are free of desire. Why has a rishi like you sought me out?" Sukadeva replied, My father, Vedavyasa, said to me, child, take a wife because the householder is the best stage of life. But I believe that marriage is bondage and want no part of it. Vedavyasa said that being married, one could still be detached. He sent me to you, saying that you ruled a kingdom and were yet a jiva mukta. My lord, I want moksha, and nothing but moksha will satisfy me. Janaka said, moksha is hard to attain. A man must first experience the 4 stages of life. First a student, then a householder, a renunciate, and finally an ascetic, before he comes to freedom. No man who has not experienced householder and the other stages become a sannyasin. Sukha said, but if a man has Viagra and is detached, even before he lives through the householder and other stages, can't he become a sannyasin straight away? Janaka said gravely, you are my guru's son. Vedavyasa is my guru, and I want to tell you the truth. If a man enters sannyasa with his desires unfulfilled, they are liable to waylay him without warning. He who makes his bed on a cliff can fall to his death, but the man who sleeps on flat ground is in no such danger. Desire is powerful. A man never relinquishes his cravings. The only way to free oneself of desire is the slow and gradual path prescribed in the Vedas. The king smiled and Sukha saw how full of grace he was. Janaka said softly, sinless one, look at me. I live in the world as thick as everything and with every activity, yet nothing binds my spirit and I'm a free man. Bright youth, this world of illusion cannot deceive the soul. When the heart is pure and calm, then all the world is untainted and tranquil. The enemy is not outside. Every demon lives in one's own heart. The mind burns a man, not his circumstances. The Atman is beyond everything the mind perceives. The Atman can never be bound. When the mind sees the Atman everywhere, then the mind becomes free. The wise man experiences the 4 ashrams of life so that he can cleanse his mind until it grows still and he sees the truth that is immanent. But how will the mind recognize the truth when it is found, unless it has first known the world of illusion and despair? Once the mind discovers the soul, it comes to enlightenment, from which there is no return. An illumined man is freed forever. Sukadeva said doubtfully, my lord, the mere mention of a lamp in a dark room does not dispel the darkness. A householder lives in the thick of delusion and violent night of samsara. How can he be free? When you are a king, O Janaka, and enjoy the wealth and power of a kingdom, how can you be a jiva mukta? Don't you think of this great kingdom until it has been your own? Don't you make a difference between pleasure and pain? The garland of flowers and of a servant. But the true mukta is beyond every attachment. I fear it is a royal vanity that makes you think of yourself as being a mukta. Why, even ascetic munis who subsist on roots and fruits of the earth fall prey to this world's maya. King Janaka smiled tolerantly at the young man. He said, you speak cleverly, Sukadeva, but the truth is that you are full of doubts and anxiety, while I am not. I have no doubt that I'm free, and not your cleverest arguments can change that. Remember that you have journeyed all the way here to seek the peace of your heart. I, Sukha, am already at peace, and I stay here in my kingdom with no desires. Do you think that if you live in the heart of the forest, you will be free of the doubts that torment you? Why, the jungle is full of bondage, just like my Matila. The vana is made of the 5 elements as much as the city. How will you be any freer in the vana than anywhere else? Freedom is of the spirit, and a spirit can be free anywhere, or bound anywhere. Moksha is within you. Indeed, what you imagine to be a less conducive circumstance to attain moksha may well be the very one that sets you free. Perhaps because it was the time had come, Sukadeva suddenly felt his doubts melt away from him. King Janaka had said nothing to him that Guru Brihaspati and his father Vedavyasa had not told him. Yet the manner in which the Lord of Attila argued, and most of all, his cheerful detachment, struck a deep chord in Sukadeva. Vedavyasa's son felt like a man who had set down a great burden that he was hardly aware he had been carrying. He smiled radiantly at Janaka and said with feeling, "Sadhu, sadhu." Suka prostrated himself before the king, took the dust from his feet, and walked out of Matila feeling happier than he had been for a very long time. Vedavyasa ran out of his ashram in delight when he saw his son had returned. He clasped Sukadeva in his arms and covered his face with kisses. Suka stayed with his father, and Vedavyasa saw that a profound transformation had come over his child. The youth was at peace now and quietly pursued his studies of the Dharma Shastras. He did not argue with his father anymore, but seemed content to learn from him with a tranquil spirit. And whenever Suka sat down in meditation, he saw King Janaka's serene, smiling face before him, and this filled him with untold peace. After some weeks, Vedavyasa cautiously broached the subject once again of marriage to his son. Suka smiled and said, "As you wish, father. If it will make you happy, I am ready to enter the householder ashram." Vedavyasa was overjoyed. Sukadeva was married to a chaste woman called Pivari, who was a rishi's daughter. She was a devoted wife, and they had 4 sons and a daughter called Kirti. Vedavyasa watched his son's family in quiet delight, and Sukadeva was so happy that if he ever looked back to the time when he was stubbornly refusing to marry, he would laugh to himself that he had been so afraid. Sukadeva never gave up his quest for moksha. Indeed, as Janaka had hinted to him, being a husband, a father, a grandfather, only made him seek the truth more fervently than ever. In time, Suka climbed Mount Kailash alone and sat in profound meditation. In due course, he acquired occult cities, bright as a star that when he rose bodily from Kailash, cleaving the crown of that most sacred mountain. He was so radiant that it was as if another sun had appeared in the sky. In a moment, blessed Sukadeva vanished entirely, for he had become one with the infinite, the formless Brahman. The seeker had become all time and places and all things. He was free. Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai, Bole Baba Ki Jai. Any questions? I'm very inspired by that. So, and it's very appropriate today. All the family folks are here, and as we all step through our paths in life. So thank you. And we'll reconvene tomorrow morning at 8:30 for our Day 4 Devi Puja. Bole Baba Ki Jai. We'll go up and have darshan of our beautiful Divine Mother before we end the broadcast. And for those of you who are all here, please go down and have